Hi, everyone. Welcome to RTN's Artificial Intelligence for Restaurants Town Hall. We host these about once every 6 to 8 weeks, and they've been wildly popular. And so we're so excited to get together here on this call and run through some of the hottest, the latest and greatest artificial intelligence applications out there that are touching all facet of the restaurant enterprise. If you don't mind, if you're not a speaker on today's call, and even if you are a speaker, just mute yourself until you're ready to speak to the audience here. A few house notes. I'm Angela Diffly. I'm the co-founder of the Restaurant Technology Network. We're thrilled to have everyone here. We like to host these calls to foster innovation, to let everyone know in the restaurant industry, to sort of cut through the noise and who's who, creating AI first solutions and or layering AI into their applications. It's an exciting topic. There's a dizzying array of applications out there. So we like to host these to just spotlight the varying diversity in these applications. So we have a lot of these, I think all of them, the past artificial intelligence share groups are all on our YouTube channel. The Restaurant Technology Network has a YouTube channel with a lot of robust, great information there. You can catch up on something if you missed it. And you can also message directly all of our speakers in today's participant panel window through the chat. You can also ask questions in the chat. We would love to have an active chat going on. It's always fun when we have members who are listening in, contribute ideas, thoughts, questions, and even raise a hand and speak up. This is meaning to be, or supposed to be, intended to be, sort of an open sharing environment, platform, if you will, for everyone in the industry to kind of gather and mind share about what's going on and the exciting new developments in AI in our space. So welcome. With that, I am going to get started here. Let's see, I'm going to let us know what topics we're going to cover today. So very, very excited that we are going to be hearing from someone who has really, really been working on AI-assisted guest feedback in the industry for quite some time. Many of you will probably recognize some of the faces on our call today. We're also going to talk about sort of an AI assistant, a chat GPT for restaurants, if you will, a platform where you can speak in plain English or type in plain English and have the platform answer back to you with real-time data and insights that you can then take action right on. So that's an exciting application. And then we have an AI-powered KDS that we're going to hear from someone on the call today. And then we also have a couple of folks talking about software development. So if you have an application or something you want to customize, we have speakers on the call today that will tell you a little bit about their background and what they've been doing in the space. And then we're going to end with a couple of RTN events on the horizon, including another AI show group that you might want to save the date for coming up here shortly. So welcome to the call, everyone. Glad to see everybody here. Another just small housekeeping note before we take off. In the participant window, you'll see that if you click on the participants at the bottom of your screen, you can see everybody who's here today. If you don't mind putting your brand, like Ben Pryor did, I'm looking at his right now. Thanks, Ben. Your name and your brand, it would be great because everybody on the call is interested in this topic. You're all here because you want to know more. There may be some interesting complementary collaborations or a business that can spark, is what we hope from these types of calls. So make sure you put who you are, what brand you're with, and maybe if you want, give a little bit of information in the chat about who you are and why you're so intrigued by this topic, or what you yourself are doing in the space. One more note, if you're also on the call and you've never spoken on this group before and you want to speak, be a featured speaker, and you do something with AI in the restaurant space, just reach out to me anytime. We'd love to have you speak on the next call. With that, we are going to get the party started. Zach, do I have you on the call?
You sure do.
Zach Oates with Ovation. So Zach is here. Many of you probably know Zach. He's an awesome speaker. We're thrilled to have him kick off the call today. Zach, I'm going to let you share your screen and run your presentation. So I'm going to stop sharing so you can jump in here and take it away.
Okay. First of all, so many friendly names and now and faces here. So good to see everyone. Now, just for context, I'm going to give like a really brief overview of Ovation. This is not meant to be a sales pitch at all, but just to kind of like explain where this data comes from. So Ovation starts with a 2-question survey. either from one of our 50 integrations, QR codes. We have an entire call to text phone system. If a guest has a great experience, we invite them to do things that are going to drive revenue for your brands, like buy gift cards, leave reviews. If they didn't have a great experience, we allow you to chat with them in real time. And I'll show you some, and the cool thing about that is you can either set it up so that AI will respond automatically for you, or you can have your team respond. And the great thing is that you can set it up so people who are like 3s and 4s, like, yeah, it was okay, but AI can handle those really, really well. For someone who's upset, you may want an area manager or the manager to respond. But the nice thing is to the guest, it's all a text conversation. And to your team, it's a really simple app on their phone. And then what we allow you to do is we have AI that track 34 different restaurant categories. So you know exactly what to fix where. You could track the trends of those. And we set goals for every location. And you can set up text marketing to bring these guests back. Now, I bring that up because here's the point about hospitality. We all know that there are 1,000 things that we need to get right. I grew up in restaurants. My first job was in Friendlies. Anyone here know Friendlies? Few people. Love us some Fribbles, right? In fact, I think oh yeah, here we go. I keep a Fribble cup on the back on my shelf. And just for all you operators out there, I did not steal this. They sent this to me when they signed up as a customer. So just to let you know. But the point is, it's about connection, not perfection. We all make mistakes, but there's something called the service recovery paradox that is fascinating to look at. Basically, a guest who has a service failure and proper service recovery is more likely to become loyal than a customer who never had a service failure in the first place. Now we think about that, and logically it kind of makes sense, right? If you go to a restaurant and they mess something up, and then they're like, "Oh my gosh, Damien, I'm so sorry. Yuri, like I'm, it was totally my fault. Izvinitia," right? It's like they want to know that things are. They want to know that things are going to be better and that you're there and you got their back. Now, there's a quick story where Honeycomb, a few years ago, they changed their recipe. I don't know if you guys knew this. Honeycomb changed their recipe. I love Honeycomb. I got the new box and it was terrible. In fact, it was so bad that I sent them a message on Facebook and I said, the new Honeycomb is awful. Like I'm like genuinely offended. A couple months later, they sent me a message back on Facebook that said, "What's your address?" And I was like, okay, big creepy brand trying to get my home address. Sure, let's see where this goes. So I gave them my address and I get in the mail a box, which includes this box of Honeycomb and this letter. And it's not handwritten, but it is in handwriting font. So that gets some credit for them, right? But basically in the middle, in big bold letters, it says, "Sorry, our bad." They went back to the original flavor. They've never messed with it again. And now to this day, guess who has a box of Honeycomb sitting in their pantry right now? This guy, right? I am a more loyal fan because I know that they cared enough to respond. And here's the data that we found. We actually researched this. We hired a third-party data scientist, looked over 18 months, looked at 150,000 restaurant guests, and we looked at how do these different demographics play out. An average guest, a happy guest, an unhappy guest that doesn't get a response, and a happy guest that uses Ovation's custom AI response. Okay? Average guest, 30% retention rate. Average spend, they come in once every 8 months, 1% likelihood of leaving you a 5-star review. A happy guest, if they come into Ovation, we're able to, because of our tools, we double their retention rate. They come in twice as frequently, and we 9x the likelihood that they're going to leave you a 5-star review. Now, interesting to note here, this $2 less, they're actually going to spend less money with you. And why is that? Because there's less menu exploration. Like once I go to one of Russell's restaurants, if I go and I know what I like, I'm going to try less things, right? But you get them to come in twice as frequently. So it works out. An unhappy guest, if you don't respond to them, has a 13% retention rate. Now, if Ovation's AI either helps you to respond by drafting it or automatically sends it out, here's the crazy thing. Retention rate goes to 68%. They spend more on each subsequent visit. They come in more than 4 times more frequently, and they are 12 times more likely to leave you a 5-star review on a subsequent visit. Basically, an unhappy guest properly recovered is worth 24 average guests to you. And so as we look at this, the name of the game is 1, making it easy for happy guests or unhappy guests to tell you how they feel. 2, make it frictionless for you to respond and recover and track that recovery. And then number 3 is have the system that you don't have to read every single piece of review and try to remember what the trends are and what you need to fix. Let AI do the hard work for you. And that's the premise of this data. And what we found to be just so impactful is focusing on the basics of hospitality, even in a digital realm, are going to help you win. And by the way, I saw Yuri here with an Enko. Slava Ukrainu. I lived in Ukraine for 2 years, Yuri, and I picked this up when I was there, and I keep it back there as a reminder to fight for what's yours, man. And this restaurant and these customers, they're yours. So fight for them.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Дякую.
That's great, Zach. So that data that you just shared, Zach, is that somewhere, do you have more data like that, like a whole research presentation or something that folks can get their hands on if they want more of that great insight?
Let me talk to my marketing team. I actually don't know what we have. I just present this slide and some of this data. I'm just a monkey. No one tells the CEO anything, Angela.
All right, I'm trying to get my presentation back. All right, here we go. Yeah, no one tells the CEO anything. That's really funny, but I love those data and insights. Does anyone have any questions live for Zach, or you want to throw them in the chat? Either way, but if anyone has any questions, feel free to speak up while we're switching over here.
Yeah, and likewise, if you just go to ovationup.com, happy to connect with you and send you any information that we have on this. I'll talk to the marketing team on what it has, or you can email me personally, zach@ovationup.com.
Awesome.
Yeah, I had a question. Zach, great shirt, love it.
Oh, thank you. Love sandwiches.
Yes. Yes, my question was about, like, with the Ovation data that comes through, say, at an interface or computer or phone, that's near to real time, so maybe like a drive-through, or even someone maybe using a contact agent for refunds or complaints. I'm kind of wondering, though, has anyone thought about commingling this type of data with, say, data from social media feeds? So you build a sort of overarching, holistic sentiment analysis of what our customers are telling us in real time and not so real time.
Yeah, that's a great point. I will just say the answer is yes. At Ovation, we aren't only analyzing the survey that we're collecting, but we're aggregating Google, Yelp, Facebook, DoorDash, OpenTable, Uber Eats, like
Right.
anyone where there's a public review about them, we bring it in to analyze all of that data together. So you have a very holistic approach, and you can slice and dice it. Show me my off-prem issues. Show me my third-party issues. Show me my on-prem issues. And so that way, it's as if you're asking 34 questions about every single order type, but the guest only sees 2 questions because we supplement it with so much additional data from online reviews.
Right. Yeah, thank you. That's very good.
I think it's super cool. I also love the idea of comparing some kind of computer vision with sentiment analysis during the review process. Can you imagine, Zach, if you had some computer vision stuff where you could see the expression on the guest's face when they're disgruntled, and then the expression that turns around when they have that moment in time to make it right?
Yeah, and we can't do that in real time yet with actual facial recognitions, but with smiley faces we can, and we can make sure that those frowny faces turn into smiley faces.
Love it. Love it. Any more questions for Zach? Throw them in the chat and we'll keep moving here. Thank you so much, Zach and Russell, for that great question. We're going to move on to Sophie, presented by Damien Janeski, co-founder. So Damien, are you ready to roll?
I am.
All right, jump on in and let me know when you need me to flip the slides.
Okay. Hi, guys. So my name is Damien, founder of Sophie. The very short one-sentence description of what Sophie is just a small, light-powered AI assistant that lets you talk to your whole aggregated tech stack in just plain English. So our job, we can move along the slide, Angela. Our job as a sort of first base is to make sure we connect all the data up across the stack that you're using, and orchestrate all of it, so make it live and coexist. And then very simply just allow any operator, their management team, or anyone in the team really, to have access to a slice of business performance relative to what might be necessary for them, or access to the whole entire thing. So essentially, it's been referred to as a chat GPT for restaurants. Essentially, that's a really quick way to describe what it does, because it is connected to all your data. We find that there are generally two users from the system, from the tool. You have the curious operator who just really needs access to business insights really quickly. And generally prior to this, they've been somewhat drowning in a sea of systems, platforms, reports, modules, dashboards, and they're generally shaping up to be a little bit too much of an inundating way to basically to operate the business at a bird's eye view, but also to understand what's truly happening. So generally all the platforms and dashboards we're used to, they tell you what is going on, but not necessarily why it might be happening or what to do about it. So this is a long-term project that initially began in 2016 with an attempt to utilize IBM Watson. That was a pretty poor experience at the time, and it didn't really work out. It was a little too chatbotty. We are now, with the emergence of LLMs and of course extractive AI models as well, not just generative, we're in a position where we can deliver a really conversational flow to the user experience. So essentially, you can ask whatever you like, however you like. You can use general terms, vague terms, and we are still in a position to decipher the intent and to find the right piece of data that's sitting across your tech stack, and to deliver an answer for you. So if we flick over to the next slide, we'll see the reason why we built this. So most of this work is off the back of about 15 years of CRM and CDP work, where the aim was to, again, have all customer data and operator data sort of living in the same in the same ecosystem, same warehouse, same data lake, same CDP, or in those early days it was just CRM. And for the most part, as we were doing that job, everybody would, and when I say everybody, I mean operators globally, we all sort of share very, very similar pain points when it comes to our data and how it lives, and how we gain our insights. And most people would sort of echo that thematic of, Damien, there's a lot of you sales guys out there, and tech founders, and in restaurant tech and hospitality tech. You're all lovely people, but my monthly fees are really piling on and starting to compound. So there's a lot of platforms I used to use only about 10 to 15 years ago. Then that couple went to 5 or 6, and now we're at 20 plus. So there's a lot going on. The data's fragmented. And sometimes we just need people who aren't able to use advanced BI tools or make queries, or don't sort of sit in a head office capacity. We have a sprawling fleet of a sprawling workforce. It's national, it's international, and we just need everybody to get their slice of visibility on what's going on. So essentially the why is to provide the curious operator, the one who's busy and moving around from site to site, a really quick, natural chat-esque way to gain access to insights and to understand what's going on right this very moment. And then that second persona is the data analyst, who usually keeps Sophie open up as a tab on their browser and supplements their work by asking numbers to be crunched or patterns to be analyzed, trends to be understood, which further uncovers revenue generating opportunities, as well as understanding weaknesses, gaps, opportunities, that sort of stuff. If we move over to the next slide, we'll get to see a little bit of an example of what kinds of tools, systems, products we integrate with. So there will be a long list of these globally that become plug and play, and there already are. But of course, with enterprise tend to use or have tech stacks where there might be some fringe pieces that either they have developed or it's something that's perhaps not as prevalent in the global restaurant tech or hospitality industry. So we generally have custom work that happens with enterprise, and that also includes fine-tuning and training AI models just for that brand as well, which is really exciting, because it truly starts learning a lot about what those gaps and weaknesses are. And it doesn't rely on you just prompting it. We can unleash Sophie on your entire tech stack, and it can passively look at all those gaps, opportunities, weaknesses, things you should be doing that it picks up on, that it will surface to you, things that you are missing out on revenue because you probably just didn't have the visibility on it, or you just didn't know that if you changed A to B that it would generate an additional $30,000 or $40,000 a year. So these are the products by default, the most common products or the most common platforms that we would integrate with, but it is not limited to just that. And then the final slide is an example of the types of prompts that are very popular at the moment. So once everything is connected, you can simply start chatting away in Sophie as you would in any chat interface. There's really no videos, no guides, no tutorials that you need to rely on to get onboarded and implemented. It just as soon as it's all connected, you just start, really. And one of the most common prompts upon entry is generally the very first one, which is, how busy are we right now? Most people really want to get a quick pulse check on a particular site and just determine whether things are going good or not. And then that sort of unpacks and dives further into conversation with an assessment on revenue, on orders, reservations. So as you can see there's a number of different ways that you can go about how your conversational flow and where it goes. Generally, you're going to get into some type of comparative analysis, either on products, on team members, or on sites, so site versus site, and who had more throughput, who had more upsell, why, who was working. There's a lot of different areas that you can touch on. And just to sort of bookend this whole thing, where we've got three, because it's AI and it's early as always, we have three phases to our work. The current one is where we are at the moment, which is the chat GPT for restaurants with their connected data phase. It's prompting, it's querying, and it's there and available. The second phase is what I touched on a little bit earlier, where we unleash Sophie onto your entire tech stack, and it will push any bits of insights or any slightly more urgent matters that it feels you need to know about. And that push is just generally done as a notification, and so they're very quick and very snappy. It's not based on again reproducing dashboards and charts and graphs and all that sort of stuff. And that's phase 2. That's in beta at the moment. That one's available for some, still in motion for others, depending on geography and tech stacks. And then the third one, which is the most exciting phase, is where Sophie begins to actually do some of the actions and perform some tasks on your behalf as well. So specifically what I'm talking about there are prompts such as, I have 117 people to roster across 14 sites, based on availability and recent performance, create the optimal roster schedule for me. Or things such as activate dynamic pricing for the next 1 hour right now. So they are all phase 3 bits of work. They're quite early for us, and they're the ones that we're working and testing with at the moment. But yes, as a general summary, this is a very new and slightly different approach to gaining insights and sort of BI on the fly, if you will.
Sounds like a good tagline, BI on the fly.
Yeah.
Any questions for Damien? Damien, was that your last slide?
Yeah.
Okay, any questions for Damien?
I have a couple, Angela.
Sure, go ahead, Casey.
Hi, I'm curious, Damien. So is the main audience for a tool like this someone at like that director of ops level, kind of a multi-unit operator level, as opposed to the in-restaurant real-time kind of managing the inner workings of the restaurant right then?
Yeah, that we're sort of finding two personas or two users. The C-level and exec and management layer are generally using it just to satisfy curiosity. So they're just quickly in, quickly out, sort of like the calculator app on your phone. They just lean in when they need to use it, lean back out when they're done, and they're quite happy with that. That's a very joyous little moment for them, because they've avoided having to log into other systems or read reports. And then, yes, the second operator is generally an ops manager, an operations person, usually at a national level, and then they sort of flow it down to area and state managers and otherwise. So they're generally getting into more data analysis mode. They're looking a little bit into predictions, a little bit into the week that was, the month that was. They're sort of looking into, and they'll just ask general prompts as well, such as, look at my last 6 weeks, analyze the trend, and let me know about any opportunities that I've missed in this particular area. So they're the types of questions that an operations manager would generally ask, together with their team, whereas the C-level is just about top line curiosities.
Okay, great. My other question, just out of curiosity, you said, how busy are we right now, is one of the top asked questions. How does Sophie answer that? Like, you sound very Kiwi-ish or Australian or something very fancy. In Oklahoma, I figure it would probably say like pretty. No, pretty busy. I don't like, how do you measure that? What is the response typically like?
Yeah, so this time last year, if you asked me, I would have said it wouldn't understand by default what busy actually means, or what you're referring to with that term busy.
Yeah,
it's received a bit of fine tuning and training on our industry globally. So we're in a position where we can sort of point it out and train it and say, when an operator uses this phrasing, then they are referring to covers, open orders, current revenue, things like that. And
okay.
there is a generalized training that we've done on Sophie at the sort of entry level. You come in, you use the generally trained one, but then enterprise gets their own trained AI model, which goes further into your acronyms, your approach to trade, your inner isms, really.
So typical KPIs that would indicate whether a restaurant was busy at the moment or not. And it's not necessarily giving you a how busy as much as like busy versus not. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. No,
And
no
luckily
problem.
with RTN, we have a lot of those KPIs already defined and standardized across the industry. So you can jump on our website, go to our technical tools, and find the KPIs as the industry has identified them in lots of different categories. Any other questions for Damien? Look, looks like you have one in the chat, Damien, if you don't mind answering. Corey from Rosnet, did you want to speak up, or do you want to just have it answered in the chat there? Are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here. I was just curious about how security is handled in a system like this. You know, things like employee social security number, for example. I mean, what keeps somebody from using something like this to data mine something they shouldn't?
Yeah, so there's of course, like everybody, especially in our space, security is absolutely the first and most important pillar out of anything, and we have some pretty extensive documentation on how we handle security. So the common casual way I can describe it is that we have bank level encryption, and a bank level security system, really, in how we sort of govern what is available to you, what isn't available to you. At present, we do not collect any data ourselves. All of it is leveraging the existing tech stack that the operator already has. So we are not writing anything back to any database. That will be in motion for the phase 3 that I was talking about. But yeah, generally speaking, there's a very high degree of security that makes its way into almost every one of our conversation. And I have some references for everybody to get a better and a deeper understanding on what that means in terms of how we handle the data, what we do with encryption, and everything else that goes with security in general.
Thank you, Damien. That's very informative about the security aspect. I know a lot of people probably thinking about that too, as you're able to query these systems for all this data. You need to lock some of it down, I guess, in the back end. But so if you have any more questions for Damien, throw them in the chat. We're going to move on to our next speaker. Thank you very much, Damien. We are going to move on to Sandeep, founder and CEO of TechRyde. Hi, Sandeep.
Yeah, hi Angela. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. You can move on to the next slide.
Okay, welcome to the program. All right.
Thank you. So I'll keep it very simple here. So I would like to talk about the challenges mostly in the restaurant kitchen operations. I'll talk about the health of the restaurant, basically the heart of the system, which is, I would say, cardiovascular system of a restaurant, which is, I would say, is not in the correct form or shape, is not functioning properly. The kitchen operations are all like lagging behind. They're not running to its potential. That's what I wanted to say. So this kitchen can be anywhere. It can be a quick service restaurant, fine dine, bar, stadium, cinema hall, or maybe hotel or cruise. So we have brought AI. I will talk about the AI. What is the role of AI in the kitchen automation? Before that, I would say about the existing technology. So existing technology is outdated or sloggy because it doesn't provide or it doesn't solve the friction points within the kitchen operations. See, the heart of the system is still not working to its potential. Even applying all the pacemakers and everything, still there are challenges because nobody knows when is the right time to start cooking an order. It can be like a lot of orders in a queue. So what happens in a kitchen is they start cooking the order when it comes in a queue, like first in, first out. So there are delays, there are inaccuracies, and kitchen staff doesn't know when to hand over the order to the customer as per the promised time, right? So essentially, they don't know at what minute of the hour they have to start cooking that particular order. So current KDS system, kitchen display system, they are working on all old school technology. And I would say they just aiming to remove the dumb kitchen printers. Sorry for that language. However, so that's the paper wastage they want to remove and set up the kitchen display system and take care of the item routing, fire the items to the respective kitchen areas. But no kitchen display system tells, okay, if order has a pizza and fries on it, do not cook fries until pizza is like maybe cooked until 6 minutes, because fries may take 2 minutes to prepare. So there's no kind of like dynamic automation within the kitchen display system. So what happens is the orders are being cooked and maybe the promised time is like 30 minutes away and the order is like lying on a shelf and the consumer is getting cold food. That's the main problem. And like Ovation, Jack was telling about the reviews. I mean, if the reviews are bad, I would say first stop the bad reviews and give what customer is expecting. I'll tell just a small story here. So I'll take an example. Maybe Chris Berry is part of is on the call here. He is like a loyal customer for RTN Cafe, which is located in, say, Long Beach Island or maybe in California City. And most of the time he spends like $100 value, whether it's an online order, pickup order, or dine-in. Because RTN is the best ever restaurant, RTN Cafe, that Chris visits, right? So what exactly he is expecting, because he's a loyal customer. He wants his order maybe to be prioritized because he is one of the loyal customers. And second, his food has to be warm, period, right? He's not expecting that the food is coming as cold because maybe kitchen is overwhelmed. There are a lot of orders in queue. That's not the expectation. Suppose Angela, who is the owner of the restaurant, and she is not in the restaurant, and someday Chris appears, and so nobody knows what is his likings. Nobody knows his previous order history. Nobody knows Chris is a repeated customer. Nobody even knows about his allergies, or maybe if he has any allergies. So what happens is, because the kitchen display system is working on the old school technology or methodology, and the chef sees the order and he start preparing. Maybe at the same point of time, because the restaurant is so famous, RTN Cafe, a lot of people are ordering from Uber, DoorDash, Grubhub, walk-in, call center. And what happens, his order is delayed and maybe not delivered on time, and it was also cold. So he went ahead and submitted a review on Ovation, maybe 2 stars or whatever, and then it's a recovery time, right? So if kitchen system is that smart, it can read the previous history, it can read the allergic information, it knows from the data who is important customer. So then it can prioritize the order. It's no longer first in, first out. So there can be many moving parts. I just gave you one example about the loyalty, customer loyalty. It can be like, suppose Chris and I live at same street. Angela lives in second street, and we all 3 ordered. System has to tell, okay, these 2 orders can be combined together, and rider can take 2 orders together, rather than manager analyzing everything based upon like traffic scenarios, distance to the store, how many chefs available, what is the promise time, what is the preparation time. There are so many moving parts within the kitchen. So this is where we come up with a solution. So Angela, next slide, please. So here, our system is based upon the latest technology, which is, I would say, is not like the sloggy system. It's not working on the old technology. It is the smart technology, which is based on machine learning, artificial intelligence. We collect all kind of data. Like I gave already some examples about loyalty, distance, traffic scenarios, weather, previous order history, customer profile. Maybe customer has made some complaints. Maybe that order has to be prioritized. Maybe dine-in customer, table turn time. All that is factored, and this algorithms are written, and system is able to prioritize order. Maybe order number 10 is more important than order number 1. This is where I would say RTN Cafe needs to invest more. They're already investing in the reviews, but they need to invest in the technology. So to upgrade the kitchen, upgrade and solve the problems for the customer, remove the friction points in the operations. So, like I said, it's powered by the machine learning, which is the latest technology. It is able to drive more revenue because customers are more happy. They are getting warm food. When the customers are happy, getting more, you get more reviews, more positive reviews, and obviously they're gonna come back. So, and even we are able to retain customers like Chris, who is loyal, right? Jack mentioned, retaining a loyal customer is like equivalent to 24 or 25 new customers. So that's where I believe in the kitchen automation, this system is really beneficial to retain your existing customer as well as new customers. Next slide, please. So there are some of the surveys itself in the RTN ST technology. It was mentioned they did some survey on the Canadian the diners. So 51% of Canadian diners would like to track their order on the real time. So not only we are working within the kitchen for the automation, we also send the update. Whether suppose somebody sends an order to the kitchen, right now it is being cooked in oven. So when it is bumped or maybe it is packed, it is dispatched. Every point of time when there is action in the kitchen, we send real-time update to the consumers. So, which is where this fact, 51% of the Canadian customers want to see the real order status that is being driven from the kitchen or even from the dispatch system or the delivery system. Same way, Seven Shift also published a report like 46% of the staff want to get the training because labor is a big problem. So we want to retain the labor. Having system in place which has a color coding, like you can color code your modifiers, your instructions, your main items. So it requires less training. So that helps to retain the staff as well. So I would say there are one or two systems in the market which works on certain kind of like automation, but they're focused mostly on the delivery. Here we are focusing everything around delivery, even inside the kitchen for dine-in, pickup, takeout, even number of chefs available, number of riders available, number of equipment available. So that's all the factors are being captured. So these surveys, like in the slide, it is mentioned like about one of the facts that reduce order accuracy of observed survey by 56%. This is after using the kitchen display system, because it reduces your paper wastage, obviously, even if like you have the printer system. And first, if it has automation, then it can further save you around another $2,000 annually in the automation. Yeah, that's all from my end. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Sounds great, Sandeep. You have a question in the chat here. LMNX Whale, would you like to speak up and ask your question directly? Would love to hear from you if you're still there. If not, it's totally okay. Sandeep, you can answer that question. I'm sure you can see it in the chat and answer it for us all so that we can all say the answer to it. Yeah, well, thank you so much. Oh, there you are. Yeah, speak up.
No, so sorry, there's a question. Let me answer. So there are like certain scenarios, about the repeating customer. So certain priorities can be adjusted based upon the restaurant requirement. If restaurant says we don't, it's for us, it doesn't matter if it's a loyal customer or no, we don't want to prioritize loyal customer. So we can reduce the priority to the bottom or second or third place. Maybe distance is the more priority. Maybe driver availability is the more priority. Maybe combining multiple order together is the main priority. So system learns based upon the data we feed, based upon the algorithm we set it. So it's all customizable.
That's nice. So depending on what's important to you and your customer base as the operator.
Exactly.
Case by case basis. Then the system learns more and more. Great. Well, thank you so much, Sandeep. We're going to move on to our next speaker. Any more questions for Sandeep? Just throw them in the chat. Sure, he'll be happy to stick around and answer. We're going to move on to DevPro. Our friends at DevPro, Paulina and Yuri, are you both there? And go ahead and take it away and let me know when to flip your slides for you.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Angela. Hi, everyone. I'm thrilled to be here today to share the challenges that we faced implementing AI. So my name is Paulina, and I'm a technical program manager at DevPro. Joining me is Yuri, our head of AI practice, who will dive into more technical aspects after my introduction. So before we get started, I'd like to give you a brief overview of DevPro. We are an outsourced software development company, meaning that we don't have a specific product of our own. Instead, we have a team of over 900 specialists and technical resources. So our mission is to partner with restaurant operators and software product companies, helping them to grow their technical teams and develop their products more efficiently and to a high standard. So while we don't exclusively focus on restaurant tech, I would like to mention that over 400 of our team members are dedicated to this area, covering front of house, back of house, and payments. Our ongoing partnerships are driving the evolution of technologies that now handles over $1 billion in transactions monthly. So, given our diverse experience with various partners, we wanted to share our expertise in AI implementation. As we worked closely with several partners on their AI projects, and today we'll be sharing some of the practical lessons that we've learned, insights that are crucial to anyone who is looking to implement AI in restaurant tech. And additionally, to make it the most of our limited time, we've prepared a series of interactive videos, and we hope that you'll find them informative and enjoyable. So with that, I'll hand things over to Yuri, and yeah, we can be the next slide.
Thank you, Paulina. We reviewed all our cases and identified the top three that are both the most common and impactful. So I would like to share them with you today. And let's start with a key issue. People often say we have a lot of data, so we're in a good position to start. But this isn't always the case, and here's why. Let's play the video. Can you hear the sound?
A valuable resource for the new AI system. But despite the massive footage, the AI struggles to provide accurate results. The video might be blurred, and the camera may not cover all critical areas. Even with good coverage, the signal could be interrupted, resulting in incomplete data. Simply having a large amount of data isn't sufficient. Comprehensive requirements must be met, where extensive data cleaning and enrichment must be done to use the data effectively for AI. So, in essence, the AI delivers accurate insights only when the restaurant strategically places the high-resolution cameras and ensures a stable signal. The quality of the data makes all the difference. The example highlights a critical lesson. Successful AI implementation isn't just about having lots of data. It's about the quality of that data.
Good. Next slide, please. A common challenge in AI is that it may work well for one restaurant, but not for another. The next example demonstrates the importance of customizing AI solutions to meet specific needs. Let's take a look.
Popular restaurant owner John sees an advertisement for a voice ordering system using artificial intelligence. He even observes the system in action at a real location, demonstrating exceptional accuracy and delivering a seamless customer experience. Excited by the potential to enhance his business, John decides to buy and install the system. However, once deployed to his restaurant, the AI struggles to understand the customers, leading to frustration and mistakes. Despite its high accuracy claim, the system fails in real-world setting. What is the root of the problem? The AI was trained on data from native English speakers, but John's customers are mostly native Spanish speakers with unique English accents. The system wasn't tailored to his specific customer base. To resolve this, the AI model needs to be customized. Technicians collect new voice data from John's customers and retrain the AI system. Now it understands the unique accents and provides accurate service.
Next slide, please. Yeah, and finally, the last case builds on our recent experiences across various AI applications and reveals a hidden hardware-related issue. Let's dive in.
Implementing AI for drive-through order matching, inventory management, and kitchen operations seems like a great idea in a modern restaurant chain. The potential to streamline processes and improve efficiency is immense. However, the chain faces significant infrastructure challenges. Outdated hardware and unstable internet connections lead to inconsistent AI performance. Additionally, the varying hardware setups at different locations further complicate the issue. AI systems require significantly more power than traditional systems, making these challenges more pronounced. Simply deploying AI isn't enough. A strong and reliable infrastructure is essential for the system to function effectively. Even a great and popular AI technology can perform poorly if the hardware can't handle the computing requirements. The solution lies in a comprehensive infrastructure assessment and a strategic upgrade plan. Restaurants must ensure a robust internet connection with the powerful cloud servers or invest in a local hardware. By securing at least one of these options, the chain can unlock AI's full potential and achieve consistent, reliable performance across all locations.
In conclusion, I'd like just to emphasize that AI adoption always comes with risks. Being aware of these risks is critical to managing them effectively. Thank you.
Those are great use cases and exciting examples. Are those problems that you've encountered and you've been able to solve for?
Yeah, those are cases, we always hear about positive scenarios, but in reality, as a implementation partners, we always see the other side.
Right.
And before moving to the results that we usually see on the market, there is a huge work related to adjusting the system, customizing, or even rebuilding it from scratch. Yeah.
Any questions for the DevPro team? Would love to hear from everyone. We have a few minutes left. They were our last speaker. So we have a few slides to share with you about save the dates, but would love for the conversation to keep going if there are any questions on the attendee side or commentary or insights you'd like to share. Thank you, Paulina. She's left the contact information in the chat for anyone who wants to get in touch with them after the fact. We will look at some upcoming events. If you have any questions or commentary, just give a shout out. This is an open dialogue here. We have our next artificial share group on October the 8th at 2 p.m. Eastern. So if you're excited and liked what you saw here, or if you want to speak on the next AI share group, we'd love to hear from you, and we'd love for you to attend, if not speak.